This one has been probably like 3 weeks in the making, ever since I decided to sell my MacBook Pro and build a computer. You see here, there are 2 of the final pieces for my new computer. This is a Z370 Gaming Plus motherboard by MSI. It obviously only supports the 3rd gen socket 1151 processors, which if you see to the left, my left, is it left on your side or right? My left is the i5-8400. So we'll start with the motherboard. I'm just going to unbox these real quick. It's a simple Z370 board. It's not going to be the best at overclocking, but when you compare pricing for something that's better at overclocking, you're actually only talking about maybe like a 5 to 10% performance enhancement or performance boost. And to pay an extra maybe $100 for that just is not worth it to me. So I'd rather just stick with a little bit lower end stuff. And I don't even have an overclockable CPU right now. But in the future, I think I may be purchasing one. But right now, I just wanted to get one that could be overclocked just slightly, just to get that little bit of performance gain. And when I eventually do upgrade to a 8600K or 8700K. So we'll just dive into it from here. I do not have an overhead camera. I'm not rich. So you get the motherboard. This is the second time I've looked at it. I actually bought this from Best Buy, and surprisingly enough, Best Buy had a pretty fair price on it. They price matched it to Amazon. So I got for $119 plus tax. At the end of the day, it cost me $126 at Best Buy. But then when you factor in, there's actually like a $10 rebate. It'll cost me like $116, which is like the same price as what I would have gotten it for from Amazon or Newegg. Although actually no, I would have gotten I paid like $10 more, but I also got it today, and I was really antsy, and I couldn't wait. I'm gonna be honest with you. So you open it up, just this thing. I always like to keep my boxes in good working order. There's 2 new SATA cables. I don't really need those. I have like 4 in that computer. I won't be using this because I have nothing to use it for. Just to register your product, quick install guide, this, and then the I/O plate. This thing, I always like to just keep this, just in case something happens. I would suggest keeping the manual. You can find these online, but I just like to have a physical copy. That way I can look something up just a little bit easier. So we'll put this onto the floor. And then we'll look at the actual motherboard itself. Take the sticker off. And these bags, too, I always keep the bags, because you never know what you might be shipping. If you got a graphics card you have to ship, or if you have some other type of product that just can't be touched by something, or can't be shocked or anything, you want to keep it in one of these bags. So this motherboard does have 4 DIMM slots right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, it's running in dual channel or whatever, so you just put the 2 sticks that you have in the black one, and then the other 2 sticks in the red one. Right now, I only have 2 sticks because I'm looking to upgrade, but I haven't found RAM for a good enough price yet for what I want. Obviously, it's got the retention arm, the thing that covers it, pretty basic. It's got, what, 2 USB 2.0s and 4 USB 3.1 ports on the back, Gen 1. That's pretty nice. I think it's got an HDMI, or a DVI, VGA, and a display port. I'm personally not going to be using any of those. I have a graphics card, but it's always nice to have. It does have an M.2 slot, which I will be using once I get my M.2 drive. But for now, I'm not sure when I'm going to get that, if that's going to be sometime soon, or if that's going to be later on. Pretty basic board. I think it looks really cool. I mean, obviously it's not a top tier board. It's not going to look the best. It's not going to look like a $400, $300 board, but it perfectly fits what I need and everything I need it for. So far I'm pretty happy with it. Just basically just looking at it. And it's exactly what I wanted and exactly what I need, the price that I pretty much was willing to pay. So next we have the i5-8400. This is obviously the LGA 1151 socket Gen 3. So this would not work with a Z170 or a Z270 board. It will only work with Z370s. The cat's trying to jump up, but he can't make it. The Z370s and the H370 boards. So you get the installation instructions there. Cat did jump up. the processor itself, and then it comes with a Intel cooler. I don't know why they don't make these any better. I feel like they should just maybe charge $5 to $10 more and give us something like what AMD does with like their Wraith Spire coolers. But at the end of the day, it's not super important because most people put an aftermarket cooler on anyway. But it's just, it would be nice to have a better, at least a better looking cooler to put on. So here's the processor itself. It's an i5-8400, clocked at 2.8 gigahertz. It does have 6 cores and 6 threads. I believe it can turbo all the way up to 3.8. And the main reason I did get this one instead of an 8600K or an 8700K was just price. I had a $25 coupon on eBay, so I just went on eBay, found one of the processors that was under retail, purchased it, and at the end of the day it cost me $142. So $142 for the i5-8400 is a pretty good price. It's pretty much as low as I could find it for. The main reason I did upgrade to the 8th gen instead of sticking with the 7th gen or 6th gen Z170 board I have in my computer now was just the 6 cores, like just the extra cores. For what I do, I'm going to want the extra cores in the future, just rendering videos. And just having those 2 extra cores is going to help me just incredible amounts. The processor I have in there now, the G4400, is just a joke for video editing. Pretty much whenever I open an app, the CPU usage spikes to 100%. I'm not a big fan of that processor. Maybe I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it though. It just seems like you could get way better value for a similar price, especially with the new H370 boards and the i3-8100 at this point. I don't know why you would buy any other processor than an 8th gen, unless you already have a board, obviously. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy with this. So I will throw this all together. I guess I'll just throw in a little time lapse and I'll put it all together. And then I will show you the completed project, although not totally completed. I am not done with this project yet. I still will only be running Windows on it, but eventually I'm going to get this thing running Mac OS, and actually it's going to look really cool. So, see you in a minute. How was that time lapse? Was it fun? So, a couple things. Building in this case, I really enjoy the P400 by Fantex. I actually really enjoyed it. There's a lot of like slits and cutouts to manage your cables, and I think it did a pretty decent job. I am stuck with the mustard and ketchup cables right now, but I do believe, I'm thinking I might try to custom sleeve those myself. I know that's like a painstaking job, but if I throw on some Always Sunny and just start watching, it'll get done like 4 hours, but it'll be some fun I do. So the build is done. There's an 8400 in there right now, 6 cores, 6 threads, running at 2.8 gigahertz, turboing all the way up to 3.8. The motherboard is fine. I wish I had a few more fan headers, but it's fine. I think there was like 7, but they were kind of hard to get to. But once I figured out how to manage the cables a little bit better, it was a little bit easier. All in all, the motherboard's great, CPU is great, graphics card is great, 8 gigabytes of RAM. It's okay. It's fine. It'll be okay for now. But the biggest problem with my system right now, and the thing I knew was going to be the biggest problem, but the thing that you don't technically have to change or upgrade, is the storage. The 2 terabyte hard drive is just, it's awful. I'm gonna be honest, it's miserable. It's no fun to use. It's so slow. It takes like 5 minutes, I feel like, to just get the computer up and running. Once it's running, it seems to be working okay, but I just feel like everything would just work a lot better if I had faster storage. So I'm looking into maybe getting an M.2 drive, or maybe just a classic 2.5-inch SSD. So I'm going to turn this into a Hackintosh eventually. I haven't done it yet. I will be working on that tonight and seeing if I can get it to work. But for now, I just need to edit this video on Windows, which I know will work, so I'm just gonna hold it at that. But if you just want to know a couple quick benchmarks, just system overview real quick. I have an i5-8400, 8 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM running at 2,400 megahertz, and an 8 gigabyte XFX RX 580. That is a tongue twister. Say that 10 times fast. That 10 times fast. Got ya. All in all, pretty powerful system. Most powerful system I've ever had. It makes my old MacBook Pro kind of look like a tiny little bit of a joke. But the MacBook Pro is also a portable computer, and you give and take. What you lose in portability, you gain in power. Here are some of the benchmarks on Cinebench R15, it got a 913 on the CPU score, and then a frame rate of 124 on the OpenGL test. Not bad, better than any computer I've ever had. I cannot get Geekbench to open to save my life, but from what I've looked up, it should be getting around 20,000. Export times compared to my old MacBook Pro are substantially better. So on a 10-minute clip on average with my MacBook, it would be anywhere from 17 minutes to 19 minutes to complete it. And on this computer, it took about 7.5 minutes to render a 1080p clip at H.264 file codecs and 60 frames per second. So far, it's substantially faster. Not quite twice as fast in terms of some parts of it, but definitely faster. Like, one of the biggest problems with my MacBook was the fact that it would thermal throttle. So it would have a very powerful CPU and a relatively powerful GPU by 2013 standards, but it would just get so hot and it would just immediately start to throttle. This computer does not have that problem right now. So let me know what you guys think about the build. It's awesome. I love it. Scrubbing through the timeline at 1080p, the full resolution on the 4K monitor is excellent. I've really enjoyed it. So far, it's awesome. Like, it's so cool to have such a powerful computer. So far, I love it. It's also brand new. Maybe my thoughts will change, but I think so far I really do enjoy it, and I think that in the future I may want to go back to getting a MacBook Pro, but that's just who I am. Like, I do enjoy Apple products, but right now this is awesome to have this much power in a desktop that costs less than a MacBook Pro. I mean, at the end of the day, this desktop behind me is going to cost me about $550, but there's going to be other costs involved with that. But right now, as it stands, it's about $550. That's insane. I mean, that's $200 cheaper than what I sold my MacBook Pro for. Like, that's awesome. So, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, consider subscribing. If you didn't like the video, like I said, always dislike it and then leave a mean comment. Mean. Like, something that personal, like a personal comment, something that's gonna cut me deep. Alright, thanks again for watching. Remember, live stream tomorrow night at 9 p.m. I will see you there at bright and early at 9 p.m. Have a great day and peace out.